Hey everyone, welcome back to PA Street Team. For those of you that are new here, my name is Derek. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you can keep up with my latest content. Today, we're going to be playing a little bit of Forza Horizon 4, a game that I really enjoy but haven't got a chance to play in quite some time. I'm actually planning to delete my career on this and start over from scratch, and I'd like to start doing a Forza Fridays where I live stream an hour or two of myself playing through the career mode in this, but it seems a little weird to be as far into this game as I am and kind of pick up from there. So I figured before I go ahead and delete my account, maybe we could build a car together. As you may or may not know, Forza Horizon 4 boasts a pretty extensive lineup of cars from different manufacturers, and my garage is full with a pretty decent amount of examples from those different manufacturers. You've got Hyundai, Jaguar, Jeep, Kia, Lamborghini, Land Rover. Pretty much anything you can think of is in this game, with few exceptions. However, one thing that is noticeably missing from my garage is my Mark IV R32. So I figured it would be fun to go ahead and buy that car in this game. It is available, and then try to build it to the current spec that my actual R32 is at and see how it compares in the game, as close as you can possibly get in a video game. So let's hop out of here and go over to the auto show. We'll go up to browse all cars, and we'll see how much research they did when adding this car. We're going backwards because the manufacturers are in alphabetical order. Now, one thing that's glaringly missing from this game is the Volkswagen Jetta, which is funny because if you play this game and drive around, not only are there other people playing and you can see their cars as well, but there are random traffic cars throughout the game driving around. And one of the cars that you can see is the Volkswagen Jetta. However, you can't drive it, and it's actually the Mark IV Jetta, which most people want. So there has been talk since this game was released about adding a Jetta in, but it doesn't look like they've done it yet, or if they have, I just don't have access to it. But needless to say, I've got what I want here, which is the Golf R32. Now, because this game is UK based, they actually got their R32 in 2003. It was actually created in 2002 for them, but they called it, they released it as a 2003 model year. Now, here in the US, we only got it for 2004. So I'm going to click on here, and it has a $20,000 price tag, which is, I believe, pretty close to where it actually was price-wise. I'm not going to choose a livery for it. I'm just going to go into colors. It appears they did do some homework because the US model and the UK model, it was also released in Australia. It only really came in four main colors. Now, there are some oddities and other super rare colors. I've heard of four-door R32s. I've also heard of white and maybe a silverstone. But the colors that we got here in the US are represented here on the screen. There was a deep blue pearl, although actual deep blue pearl is much more saturated than this. This is a lot darker than what the deep blue pearl is. So I think this is more like a color, I believe it's called Baltic blue. That's a bit more similar to what this is representing. Then you have the Tornado Red, Black Magic Pearl, which I have, and then Reflex Silver Metallic. Let's see if I can go over here to normal. If I was to do a true representation of Deep Blue Pearl, I would say it's more... I'd say it's more like that. This kind of looks a little bit more like Jazz Blue, but it's maybe between here and here, somewhere in the middle, depending on the lighting that it's in. But regardless, let's go back in, buy Black Magic Pearl, which is what I have, and get this going. And of course, it has to save the content. Alright, so we have our black Mark IV R32. Hop into photo mode, see if we can take a look at it, see how close it is to the real thing. Okay, there we go. up a little bit. Might have to go out of photo mode to open the doors. Let's see. Oh yeah, explode. There we go. Now let's go back into photo mode. Alright. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. The Koenig racing seats, which I actually don't have in mine anymore, with the R logo branding and those amazing bolsters. If you ever get a chance to sit in stock R32 seats from this generation, do it. They're amazing. You have the aluminum trim on the doors. The pedals are correct. This car did only come in a manual option, at least for the US. I'm not sure about the UK and Australia. But yeah, everything's pretty accurate. If you look in the back, there's obviously back seats with the branding. My car does not have this. I also took these interior panels out. But yeah, other than that, pretty accurate. You've got your dual tip exhaust, R32 badging on the rear hatch, and the Aristo wheels, and the blue calipers, which are actually jazz blue calipers, which is not a color that's featured on any of the R32s. It was just a GTI color. I believe it was one of the anniversary colors, maybe the 25th or the 20th. I remember right off the top of my head. But enough rambling. Let's go start building this car. Okay. So first we're going to start with engine stuff. Intake. I do have a cool air intake on mine. This looks to have like a ram air on it, so I'm going to go with just the sport intake, which gave me 7 horsepower. I don't have any upgrades to my intake manifold or throttle body, nothing to my fuel system or ignition. The exhaust on my car is a stock downpipe to USP high flow cats, back to a 2.5-inch IEP exhaust with resonator delete. So I think between the two of these, I'm going to go with the sport exhaust, because I believe the race exhaust would be an upgraded downpipe and probably a test pipe, which would eliminate the catalytic converters. So we'll go with this, which gives us another 11 horsepower. My car does have cams. Thinking it's probably just going to be street. Valves, displacement, pistons, compression, oil cooling, flywheel, no, none of that stuff. So let's hop back out. Come over here to platform and handling. My car does have Porsche Cayenne 17Z brakes on the front, so it looks more like the race brakes, actually, just based on visuals. My car is on ST coilovers, so let's just go with sport. And I do have rear anti-roll bar, sport, no roll cage yet. I do have a bit of weight reduction. My car still has the radio in it, so it wouldn't be this, but I have removed a bunch of the stuff out of the trunk and the rear seats and rear interior panels, so let's go with this. It says it's removing 77 pounds. I think that's probably being a little generous. Let's hop over here to drivetrain. I do have the South Bend Daily Driver clutch upgrade, the Stage 2. Let's just do street to be conservative. No transmission upgrades, no driveline or differential upgrades yet. Let's go to tires and wheels, tire compound. Let's go to street. And I am running a 255 3518 in all 4 corners on my car, so it's cool that that size is on here. And then we're going to switch the wheels to sport rim style, and we're looking for the 1552 Turbo Mac wheels. already set up as an 18, so I don't need to do that. Yeah, I believe they're an 18. Yeah, okay. So we're good there. Let's go to aero and appearance. I do have the stock bumper on mine. I'm curious to see what they have. Okay, so these two bumpers do genuinely exist. Most people with R32s just keep their stock bumper and do something like this, where it's just a carbon fiber lip or some kind of a small spoiler at the bottom. I will say the tow hook placement on this is really weird. It actually falls behind the passenger side grill on the bumper, so I don't know why they have it in the center like that. You'd be going straight into the bumper support, so I don't really understand the purpose there, but we're going to go with just a stock bumper. The wing's going to be tricky. They obviously don't have the brand I have. The story with my wing, because people ask a lot, is there's a company out of Poland that sells the wing that I have on my car on eBay a lot of times. They are on Instagram and Facebook at Volkswagen Wide Body Parts. They're a little bit of a sketchy company because what they did, they based their design off of a company called Boomerang that did spoilers for the Mark 1, 2, and 3 platform, and then didn't make one for the Mark 4, so they kind of copied their design and modified it to fit the Mark 4 platform. They sell them on eBay occasionally. The problem is, beyond the fact that they basically stole the design, they also use the Boomerang branding on their photos, which doesn't make sense because it's not a Boomerang product and they are not Boomerang. I actually bought mine secondhand from a company in Maryland called New German Performance. They deal with a lot of R32s, and I believe they were getting ready to do a track build, and then something happened that they just didn't end up using it, so their loss was my gain. This Forza wing is crazy. I mean, the shape is somewhat similar, although my fin in the center is only one layer, it's not two. It does curve up like that, but it's more towards the top of the hatch, and it's about half the size of that. So that's not really going to work. No to a mid-hatch spoiler. I think what we're going to do for the sake of this is go with this one, because it's the closest to what I have, and it's actually the other option I was looking at had I not got the Boomer Cup spoiler. So stock rear bumper, stock side skirts. I wonder what options they have for the hood. Oh, just like an STI hood scoop. That is hideous. Yeah, we're not going to do that. I'm surprised there's not even like an option for carbon fiber. Very odd. But yeah, we're not going to do that. So, and then they have conversions that you can do. Engine swap to a 6.2 liter V8. Okay. That would be BC. Drivetrain swap. So this car is all-wheel drive from the factory. I don't know about doing a rear-wheel drive swap. I don't know why you would want that. You can make the R32 front-wheel drive by removing a fuse. A lot of guys will do that when they're getting the cars dynoed, if it's hard to find all-wheel drive dynos around them. But yeah, I don't really see the point in a rear-wheel drive setup, so we're not going to do that. And then my car is currently on an NA setup, but there are turbo and supercharger kits available for them. I actually thought about doing a supercharger in the future because I like the sound of a supercharger. However, I've talked to a few people that have had those setups, and they've told me some horror stories about the belts breaking about every 5,000 miles, so I would be changing a belt at least once a year, and that just does not sound like a fun time. So that'll definitely be something that I have to think about in the future, whether I want to go that way or turbo. Because with the Mark IV and the 3.2 liter VR6, it's really hard to get beyond about 300 horsepower on an NA setup without any kind of forced induction. So there you have it. We have my car built as close to the current setup as possible. I don't need to worry about doing any designs on it because my car is just basic black right now. Now, granted, I didn't take the Christmas lights off yet because I've been lazy and it's cold out, but if we're being realistic, this is what my car, or at least as close to it as possible. So let's go take it for a quick drive, and that'll finish up the video. So we're going to install the setup, Took us from about 241 horsepower, which is pretty accurate for the stock horsepower numbers for this car. Took it up to about 280, which I've not had my car dynoed yet, but that was kind of in the realm of where I was guessing. My car also has a tune on it, so it's probably maybe a little bit higher than that, but also with age, horsepower, you know, goes away a little bit. So eventually I plan to have the car dynoed, and we'll see how that goes. So we're going to spend almost 20 grand to gain about 40 horsepower. That's disgusting. And let's see how it sounds. The details in this game are incredible, though. I really hope they do a Forza Horizon 5. Okay, I'm gonna drive away from the festival so we have some more quiet. But I can tell you already that the sound is pretty close. It's a bit more high pitched than the car really is. Oh look, R32's in the feather. Together. See, that blue must be the one that they were selling it as in the stock colors, but that's much lighter. Yeah, it's the throatiness is there, but the pitch is much more high pitch, especially on an R32 with an upgraded exhaust. It's much higher pitched. The car itself is a lot deeper in tone. I'm going to try and let it just coast so you can hear some of the lower RPMs where it gets it right. Right in here, right around 3,500 RPM, is where you start to get that trademark Wookiee sound that these cars are known for. So that they definitely got it right. And the downshifts sound pretty good too. It's just that higher RPM range. Yeah, and granted the recording's taken from outside of the car, so maybe it does sound more like this, but at least from inside the car, it's much of a deeper sound. But with that said, this has been a lot of fun building this car. I'm looking forward to doing Forza Fridays with you guys. I hope that you tune in. Let me know what you'd like to see me build while I'm doing those live streams, and hopefully you'll tune in. My first one is going to be tomorrow, or at least that's the goal. So I hope to see you then. In the meantime, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and also that notification bell, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.